for the next few minutes. We're going to start this morning in Lamentations, where the mercy is renewed every morning, that every day, regardless of where we were yesterday or what we said yesterday or what we did yesterday, God's mercy is renewed. Though the Lord's mercies, we are not consumed, because his compassions, they fail not. They're new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. See, there's an abundance of mercy, and it means I'm guilty. Mercy is I'm already accepting guilt, but I need a break. When I'm asked to go to court for somebody or to testify on their behalf to make a good request before the judge, I never get involved in the case because that's not my expertise. But I ask for mercy. If there's a way for the judge to be merciful, to grant pardon, that's what I ask for. I don't argue the merits of the case, so if you expect me to come and argue the case, that's not what I do. I ask for mercy based on your family situation, your jobs, whatever. And some of us just have too many excuses, too many words, of why something went wrong. It's best to own your mistakes, to recognize when you fail and what your failures are. And this way we can fix them. You can't fix something that you don't accept and that it's always someone else's fault why something happened to you. And I love the analogy here in Luke chapter 18, Jesus telling the parable of the tax collector and the Pharisee. The Pharisee is full of himself. Pharisee stood and prayed thus, God, I thank you that I'm not like other men, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, even as this tax collector. How'd you like to be standing next to a guy and he says, well, as he's praying, I'm not like this guy, he's terrible. And the tax collector, now remember, tax collectors were hated. They were thought that they were collaborators with Rome. Their goal was they could extort out of you as much tax money as they could get. Rome had a certain requirement, and once they met that requirement, the rest was his. So he was thought of as a thief and a traitor. And the tax collector, standing afar off, would not so much as raise his eyes to heaven, but beat his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. And Jesus said, who do you think the Lord heard? He said, the Lord heard the one who was humbled. And he said, at the end of that, he says, for everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. 2 Corinthians 9, and God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that you always having all sufficiency in all things. I love that. All sufficiency in all things may have an abundance for every good work. We like to think of 2 Corinthians 9:8 as kind of financial, and it is, but it's not just financial, it's everything. All sufficiency in all things. It's not just money. It's in prayer, in spirituality, in relations, in friendships, in crying out for needs. He takes care of everything. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And remember, in Romans 4, he tells us he calls those things which do not exist as though they did. So sometimes we have to, in the spirit realm, when we're praying, say, I already see my new job. Lord, I don't know where it is, and I don't know when it's going to come, but I know it's coming. And you have to trust him that he knows the timing of everything. And I love this story of David confronting Goliath. If you remember, his faith and confidence were honed in the shepherd's field alone. He would be out tending the sheep alone, and to believe that he could defeat a 9-foot giant. And when he said that he can take on this uncircumcised Philistine, everybody, including King Saul, said, whoa, sonny, and David here is a teenage boy. He says, I don't know if you know how tough this is. And David said, well, look, you don't know how tough I am. He said, when the bear and the lion came to steal my sheep, I fought them off. the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. He is nothing more than another lion or another bear. And it's like, wow. And see, God had honed in him this super faith that he could take care of anything with the Lord as his helper, with the Lord doing it. And so it's really, I want to encourage you that the Lord you can do anything. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. As long as you have the Lord, you're able.